Hello, I'm Yoko, and I'm finally back with an Animal Crossing Gajinkas video. Thank you to my patrons who are on screen, and let me explain this series real quick since it's been over a year. So, a long time ago, I gave each Animal Crossing villager a score between 1 and 6. Admittedly, some of the scores probably would have changed by now, but I don't want to remath everything. Then I took the average for each animal species in the game, and I've been drawing human versions of them starting from the species that scored the worst and moving up to my mathematical favorites. So far in order, I've done the hippos, gorillas, cows, ducks, and mice. And I have a playlist if you want to check out those older videos. Today I designed all the monkeys, and the same disclaimer that I had in the gorillas video, none of these designs have darker skin for obvious reasons because even if it does seem like it would make design sense, I am not touching that with a 10-foot pole. Also, I usually draw a full body for these speed paints, but I had started this a long time ago and lost the majority of my speed paints when my old computer completely crashed. I do still have the art, but for most of these speed paint wise, I just redrew the poster that is in the game for them. And I'll show both that and the full body art at the end. And I also show these in order of least to most liked, so these videos are also sort of like a tier list for the species as well. So with all that said, on to my least favorite monkey. We're starting with Elise. I gave her a score of 1 because I've said in previous videos, I'm just not a big fan when the animals have the giant lips and makeup and stuff. Sometimes it works. I've also had her in a town where I then drew her looking semi-realistic, and this is nightmare fuel. Elise is snooty, and her picture quote is "do as I say, not as I do," which is an oof, and her catchphrase is "please." Her skill is mental math, and her goal is apparently to be an archaeologist. But I drew her pretty old here, so maybe she's retired. She was giving me older lady vibes, so I ran with it. You'll see in the full body that I turned her in-game outfit into more of like a nightie and adding some slippers. I gave her big old pearl earrings for the color of her inner ears, and I actually made her red glasses like way bigger here than the full body picture, so pick which you prefer. I kept her hair short and scruffy, and I had to keep that mole/beauty mark on her chin. Love those for character designs. I can't tell if she looks like she'd be the nice old lady with a bit of sass, or the old lady that is one inconvenience away from going full Karen mode on someone. But here's the full body I lost the recording for. Like I said, Elise is my least favorite monkey, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of real-life monkeys, but there are some that I really like in the game. But the next monkey is Monty, who I gave a score of 2. His eyes in-game just don't give me joy. I do like his bluish-gray skin, though. He's a cranky monkey, and his picture quote is "no news is good news," and his catchphrase is "gatang." His skill is shadow puppetry, which I did reference in the full body picture, and his goal is to be a detective. He's a presumably dyed blonde, as you can see bits of his hair faded to his natural color, and that's based on some text from Pocket Camp that says, "Whether or not Monty dyes his hair is hotly debated around town. Either way, one thing is clear, it's extremely cool." So I took that to say that he was a cooler looking guy despite being cranky, and I made around his eyes gray and kept his yellow eyes, but he looks way less creepy to me as a human. The shirt he was wearing kind of makes it look like he's gonna go on a safari, and I mean his house in New Leaf is just a giant mushroom forest. I made his pants a cream that fades into that bluish gray at the bottom, and overall I really like his design. Here's his full body. Like I said, I looked up shadow puppetry, so he should be making a dog there. He turned out a lot cooler than I was expecting, and I'm happy with the results. But yeah, that's Monty. Next up is Deli, who I also gave a score of 2. Again, I'm just not the biggest fan of monkeys as an animal in general. Deli is based off a specific species called the gray langur, and is named after a territory in India. He also has a sitar in his home in New Leaf, so it's very clear he is meant to be Indian-based, but as I mentioned, I'm just avoiding darker skin tones. But Deli is a lazy guy whose picture quote is "righty-tighty, lefty-loosey," and his catchphrase is "munch." His New Horizons house was giving student to me for some reason, so I went with that, playing more into him possibly being one. Though his skill is jumping rope and he wants to be a musician, so maybe this is a case of his parents want him to study and be a respectable student. His Pocket Camp info says that he's a true gourmet, and he's sung ballads of salads, written sonnets to omelets, and his odes to a la mode. So he seems like a creative. I kept his sweater vest and some poofy hair bits, but I did add a little moon pin for some flair based on his ears. I took the brown from his design and used it for his pants, but here's the full body. I think he turned out pretty cute. Again, I'm going for pretending to be a good student vibes. Side note, I had to draw that shirt twice now thanks to the computer crash. That wasn't fun. But there's Deli. Next is Tammy, who I gave a score of 2 to. Again, in-game, I just don't vibe with her look, probably because she's a monkey. Lemur, monkey. Her eyes are also a bit much, but I did love translating her into a more alternative-styled girl. She resembles a ring-tailed lemur, which is fun, and she's peppy with the picture quote, always down to monkey around. And the catchphrase, chimpy. Her skill is making puns, and her goal is to be an artist, so she's an art girly. She seems like a super chill girl who likes to party, and she's actually wearing a different outfit in her poster picture, which I'm drawing now, and it seems like she went to Hawaii. Now with designing her, I had a lot of fun and made her pretty alternative looking, earrings, bits of dyed hair, darker makeup, and in the full body image you'll see that I took her ringtail and gave her some arm warmers and stockings, as well as black nails and big old boots. And a hint of fishnet under her shirt. Her red eyes look super cool, and I had fun with her messy pigtails that I gave her. But here's the full body. She might be my favorite of the batch as a human, personally. Her shirt does clash a bit, but I stay with what they have in-game. But yeah, I love her. Here's Tammy. Next is Shie, who is our first score of free for the monkeys. I kind of just have a bias because I have her in New Horizons, and she was a starting villager for me. She's a big sister type villager whose picture quote is, a good start leads to a good end, and her catchphrase is cheeky. She's based on the squirrel monkey, and fun fact, I also don't like squirrels either, so that animal name is cursed to me. Her skill is remembering stuff, and her goal is apparently to be a figure skater. And her pocket camp information says she takes no lip from anyone. Those who fling gossip around town might find something else worse thrown back at them. So she's got fight to her. I did make her look like a gardener and gave her some gardening gloves as well as boots that you'll see later. I gave her some big circle earrings and styled them to resemble her ears, gave her similar lashes, and struggled with her flower shirt twice for these pictures, and I gave up a little on the second one. That is the speed paint. But here it is. I like the pose I had for her in the full body. She looks really casually pretty, if that makes sense. Also, she has the giant rose bed in her house, so that also contributed to making her a gardener. But yeah, that's Shie. Next is Flip, who is also a score of free, and he's just kind of a basic monkey, but he has nice vibes. He probably would be below Shie now because I keep pulling him in my amiibo packs. I have 3 of him now. He's a jock, and his name is probably based on a wrestling move called the monkey flip. His picture quote is, see no donut, hear no donut, speak no donut, in reference to the Free Wise Monkeys, but with donuts, and his catchphrase is re-rack. His skill is fittingly climbing trees, and he unexpectedly wants to be a pro golfer, which I didn't see coming. He's also wearing a different outfit in his poster picture that I'm drawing, as it seems he's at a festival, fitting with his house just having a stand like he's selling, as well as his pocket camp info that says he considers every day a holiday and everywhere he goes to a festival. So this little man is a business boy. I kept his tooth gap and made his hair pretty poofy, having fun with the layering because I took the green from his ears and turned it into a headband. In the full body, you'll see that I put freckles on his shoulders, and his full body has more of a casual workout outfit. A tank and some sweatpants, basically. But here it is. I think he's a little goober, and he turned out pretty cute. By day, he works out. By night, he's selling at a stand and making that bank, apparently. Respect the grind. But that's Flip. Next is Simon, who has a score of 4, and he's the first one to have a full-body speed paint, so say goodbye to the poster redraws. They were cute, but it's extra work I do, and not needed for the series. I find his design fun and more visually appealing. He's lazy with the picture quote, friends go together like peanut butter and bananas, and the catchphrase, zook. His skill is memorizing stuff, and his goal is to be a film director. And his house in New Horizons has him basically camping under the pretty stars, and I love it. Love that wallpaper. On a less happy note, so Simon has some red parts on his design, and I was a little mean, and I gave my human version a sunburn. Specifically, he fell asleep with a mask on, so there's the effect of where the red on his monkey form is. While creative, I did feel a little bad. I made his clothes pretty casual and made him the type that might be on a chill journey of self-discovery, traveling around before settling down. And I was a little lazy, and I did use the symmetry tool for a lot of this. Also, Krita was kind of freaking out and not letting me click stuff, so that was annoying at that point in time. I did fix it since then. But here's Simon, hope you like him. Every time I see a character with a sunburn, I think of Greg from Steven Universe, so there's that. Next is Tian Sheng, who I gave a score of 5 because I enjoy the reference to the Monkey King, aka Sun Wukong. As of right now, I actually have a playthrough of Platinum where I started with Chimchar and named him Sun Wukong. And his name comes from, and I'm going to butcher this, sorry, Chi Tian Da Sheng, which is Sun Wukong's self-professed title translating to Great sage equal to heaven. Overall, I find lore villagers very fun. He's a jock with the picture quote, "The world is more swole than you will ever know," and the catchphrase, "woo woo." He wasn't in New Leaf, so I don't really have the skill or goal, but his house is actually a giant kitchen, which was unexpected. His pocket camp information also makes it seem like he's not the brightest, since it says, he insists that his shoes help him run faster, and he's always running, so he never takes them off, which makes it hard to test this theory. He's already pretty much dressed in a full outfit in the game, so I basically just remade that, including the headpiece. And I gave him red eye makeup and some messy hair. Really not too much to talk about, so here he is. He reminds me of Lego Monkey Kid fan art that I see here and there. And I know nothing about that show, but I'm 90% sure that is also just Sun Wukong, so you know. On to the last one. Finally, my favorite monkey in the series is Nana, who I gave a score of 6, and I like her for semi-sad reasons. She reminds me of my late great-grandma, who I called Nana. She loved pink, and I started a New Leaf town shortly after she died, and Nana was one of the starting villagers, along with another villager that shared her actual name. Crazy coincidence there. So, sorry to get a little sad there, but that's why I really like this villager so much. Nana is a normal villager with the picture quote, "Bread always falls peanut butter side down," which, side note, my Nana also loved peanut butter. And she has the catchphrase, "Popo," which pretty sure she's a reference to the ice climbers since they're named Nana and Popo. Her skill is magic tricks, and her goal is to be a judge. I leaned into pretty girl of her. I gave her a long pink ponytail of anime physics, so don't think it over. Swooped up the other parts of her hair for visual interest, and turned her outfit in-game into a cozy turtleneck and gave her those wavy shorts that, at first glance, at some angles, may look like a skirt. With some pink striped socks and pale yellow shoes, there she was done. So here's Nana. I think she turned out really cute. She is actually in my New Horizons village too, and I filled her little yard I made with pink roses. I love her. And that's all the Animal Crossing monkeys as humans. Let me know who your favorite design was. It was so fun to come back to this series, even if I did lose the initial speed paints for most of them. I'm going to try to post this series more often because I have a lot of fun with it, and it's just a personal side project for me. In general, I kind of want to go back to making a bunch of my side videos. Galaxy Clan has kind of taken over my life, even if I do love it. As I mentioned, I have a playlist with the ones I did do already, but thank you again for watching. Thank you again for my Patreon supporters, and I will see you next time. Peace!